Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are back with a new fantasy series. We are discussing the first book in the Starlight's Shadow trilogy. If you would like to see this in video format, head on over to Patreon. You can see our beautiful faces, and guess what? No ad breaks. We also have other after shows available on Patreon, as well as reading vlogs and other things. And if Patreon isn't your style, don't worry. You can hear all of the after shows and other exclusive content in audio only over on the Spreaker app. So sign up there as a supporter to gain access. Wow, I cannot talk today.
It's okay.
Don't forget, you can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more book chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yay! Why does it seem like it's been a long time?
I don't know, but it feels like it's been forever.
I know.
Well, we did take April off. So it has been a couple months.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we did take that.
Yeah, we took a month off, so it's been a while.
Oh, okay. So before we start, tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay, wonderful. So before we begin, we'd like to remind you that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here, so you have been warned. Spoiler alert. So today we are discussing Hunt the Stars, written by Jesse Mahalik. The audiobook is narrated by Frankie Corzo, published February 1st, 2022 by Harper Voyager and Harper Audio. The paperback is 419 pages. The unabridged audio is 12 hours and 2 minutes. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Oops. Let me not knock everything over. I'm struggling too today.
Shared struggle.
Shared struggle. It's the Mondayest Sunday ever.
Facts.
Okay. Octavia Zarallo would do anything to keep her tiny, close-knit bounty hunting crew together, even if it means accepting a job from Torrin Fletcher, a ruthless former general and her sworn enemy. When Torrin offers her enough credits to not only keep her crew afloat, but also hire someone to fix her ship, Tavi knows that she can't refuse, no matter how much she'd like to. With so much money on the line, Torrin and his crew insist on joining the hunt. Tavi reluctantly agrees because while the handsome, stoic leader pushes all of her buttons for both anger and desire, she's endured worse, and the massive bonus payment he's promised for a completed job is reason enough to shut up and deal. But when they uncover a deeper plot that threatens the delicate peace between humans and Volofs, Tavi suspects that Torrin has been using her as an impetus for a new war. With the fate of her crew balanced on a knife's edge, Tavi must decide where her loyalties lie, with the quiet Volof who's been lying to her, or with the human leaders who left her squad to die on the battlefield. And this time, she's put her heart on the line.
All right. That was a pretty good descriptive
summary.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of trickery there. There's no hidden. It is what it is. You are getting what you are served up. Which is good, I think. What'd you think? High level, when you finished the book, did you have some immediate...
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So... Disclaimer, I did read this book back in 2022 when it first came out, and I promptly forgot everything.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. So I knew I had read it, I knew I liked it, but then I started reading it again, I was like, this doesn't seem familiar. Why are they talking about a ring? I thought there was a child. Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I just forgot everything about the story. But I still really liked it.
Okay. And so actually, this is a great time to let everyone know. For those of you wondering who voted on this series, you can now tell whose pick this was.
Yes. Hello.
It was
Casey.
Me. Yes.
Hi, everybody. I hope this turns out better than my last pick. And so far, I think we're better.
Yeah, I would say we're starting off on a good foot.
Starting off on a good
This is good.
foot.
Yeah. So now you know, secret's out. Okay, so
Yes.
what I thought was, I was like, oh, that's cute. I like it.
Mhm.
There were a few things I wanted from the story still,
Oh, definitely.
but I had a good time. It was fast, it was light and carefree, and I didn't really have any huge issues, which was nice.
Mhm.
Coming off of, some other books that weren't that great. So this did not break my reading stride. So
Good.
that was the most important thing.
So I have a theory as to why we both liked it so much.
Okay.
I feel like Hunt the Stars is Mercy Thompson meets Burn for Me, but in space.
You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Like, there were so many things that were very Mercy coded, and then so many things that, like, straight up came out of Burn for Me, but it was set in space. And I was like, yes, like, this is everything we love from both of these series, but in space.
Yeah, like the kind of enemies to lovers between Burn for Me and this were kind of like similar, except Burn for Me.
Burn for Me was better with the building and the tension, and I have thoughts about that too. But he was a very strong telekinesis and like very powerful, and they're sworn enemies on opposite sides of the war, but they have to work together to go find somebody because she's the bounty hunter and he's the rich man who can like fund her solving the case.
He's got to be rich too, of course.
Got to be so rich.
Yeah.
And of course, she has her family and needs money, and it's always about the money. And then we have the Mercy. It was
like the found family, the
found family.
Yeah,
she's in charge. She's making apology cookies for everybody. There was this scene. This one really sealed it for me when they all went to watch the TV show together.
Oh,
I was like, this is a scene straight out of Mercy, like when they're doing their movie nights.
Yeah, it is. It is like that. Yeah, they were watching this reality TV show, which is hilarious. But
like that's absolutely Mercy's like gathering everybody around, baking cookies for them, jumping into danger, giving up her life to save a child's life. Like, oh yeah, there were so many things. I was like, this is Mercy. This is Nevada, but it's in space, and I like it.
I like the space stuff. I didn't feel like it was obvious that we were in space. We're talking about ship problems and gateways and stuff like that and jumping and, all the spacey things, but it wasn't. It was like this was a romance, like you said, with a side of space.
Yes. Yes. It was cozy space, romantic space.
Yes.
And I loved and appreciated how she talked about, like, we have a garden, so when we get sick of staring out into the black abyss, we can go touch something green. I was like, that's so human. So it's such a human nature thing to do.
And honestly, when I thought of that garden, I honestly thought of like Star Trek or something. You know how you go into one of their little rooms and it looks like a forest or a garden with things hanging and flowers and her little
definitely.
Luna hanging out and sleeking around in the garden. I'm like, oh, that's cute. But I thought of Star Trek a little bit.
I definitely thought of Star Trek too. But that was... It was cute. It was really, really cute.
Yeah, it is cute. And sometimes, though, see, this is the thing. I think that this book hit right when I needed it because I needed something light and not too heavy. But sometimes when I think of space things, I want a little more action, a little more intensity.
So one of my biggest issues with the book was that the first 40% of the book, nothing happened. Like, yes, he hires her, but they spend 5 days traveling leisurely. They're talking about food. They're talking about stocking up on perishables versus pantry items. And then, we're going to bake cookies. We're going to work out. We're going to watch movies together. Like, it was so soft and fluffy that it was really, really dragging. And I was like, I need something. Yes, I'm immediately picturing Nevada. I'm picturing Mercy. I'm seeing all these other things, but like there needed to be some sort of skirmish or some like little fight or some action within that first 40% before they get to the enemy's planet, like before they do the bigger stuff, because it was just so slow.
And also, it doesn't really jive with the importance of why he hired her.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it felt like the plot twist didn't hit because they spent 5 days going around doing nothing. I'm like, are you really worried about your nephew? Like, plot twist, it's not a ring we're looking for. It is a kid.
Right.
But are you really worried for him? Because you've been gone for like 10 days. And now that they're there and they reveal the plot twist, it was a very really moment of like, you just wasted 10 days doing nothing and grocery shopping? Like, come on, I'm stuck on this grocery shopping. Why was there so much grocery shopping?
He's clearly not the favorite nephew. No. He's like, we'll get to him when we get to him, I guess. I don't know.
We love him, but also, like, we're going to let him be kidnapped for 2 weeks before we try finding him again.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, that part, I kind of, when the plot twist was revealed that it was a child and not a ring, I kind of felt empty about it. I didn't say, oh no, a child. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, this doesn't fit with your actions before, sir. Right. Like, you were so calm and collected and cooking for people and working out, and not like, let's move faster, let's go back faster. It was just,
okay. He should have been like, I feel like the intensity could have been appropriate if he had just said it was a child. Because then, honestly, I feel like Tavi would have been on board immediately.
Oh, she would have, yes.
And then maybe, I know this would change the story, but I feel like at least the intensity and the urgency would have been there. And if they had some hiccups along the way to delay them getting to the place, okay, fine, so be it. But everyone's working on the same thing, the same task.
Absolutely, yeah. No, they needed that. And then she could still have the betrayal of like, oh, the Empress still wants to kill you, and he knew about it. Like, that was the big betrayal. But I don't know, like.
And to me, the stupidity of him not being able to say is so dumb to me.
It's so dumb. Like, they didn't really explain the oaths. Like, what happens if he breaks his oath? Is it really just an honor thing? Or was it like a magical blood oath? If he broke it, then like he would turn green or something? I don't know.
I don't think the oaths even matter, because when it came down to it, he broke it. Nothing really bad happened.
After he gave his blood oath to her about like, now we are one person, which,
oh god, another kind of tropey thing. And then of course, so he does it so he can tell her all the things, and it's still,
but he doesn't explain it.
No.
And she tells the doctor to heal him, and then the doctor's like, are you phrasing it this way because this makes the blood oath work? And I'm just like,
I'm not a fan of tricking her into a blood oath. Like, just tell her, I want to tell you the things, but we need to do this.
Yeah.
And we can reverse it later. Why do you have to trick her into it?
I don't know. Maybe there was a blood oath where he couldn't say it to anybody not from his planet or something weird like that. Like, there was just.
Everything was very
dramatic.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I can fix this by doing this. Okay, that seems kind of silly. So now we'll give her an oath to, clear it up. It's like everything, it worked together. It did work. But, thinking of it critically, it's kind of like lazy, almost lazy a little bit.
It really is. And now that I'm thinking about it, why didn't he know the Empress was going to kill Tavi and her entire team? Like, he was supposed to be the most famed general who, like, knew battle plans. Like, this, anybody could see this from a mile away. But he was like, no, I had no idea until I talked to her that one morning. And I was like, but why?
Yeah.
Are you really that slow? Are you really that bad at war?
Look, I would have rather him be like, yeah, I knew, but I didn't know you then, and I thought you were a horrible person, but now I
Yeah.
love you, so I wasn't going to let them take you. I mean,
Exactly. Like, that would make more sense if he had known from the beginning.
Yeah. And she was so like, oh, I feel betrayed. Oh, how dare you? I thought,
Oh, I've been stabbed and my heart is a wound and the wound won't close. She kept talking about the wound. And I was like, Jesus, girl. Are you a 13-year-old girl in her bedroom writing her diary? Like, my wound is still bleeding. My heart is an open wound.
kind of angsty, ultra angsty for someone who's like been in war.
For a decade and talked about that so much without telling us anything else about the war.
She's been in war. She's been betrayed. She's been left for dead. I mean, she's had all these experiences, but yet she did seem kind of angsty, like teen angsty in some ways.
I almost feel like she's never been in a relationship before. Or at least like not an adult relationship. Because if she's, 34 now, I think it was, 33, 34. She was in war for 10 years. She was like maybe 20 when they went to battle. Yeah, I don't think she's had an adult relationship. So she's just like, teenage me, this is how I would feel. This is how I still feel.
Yeah, I mean, it was coming through every time she was eyeballing Torin. Like, she's like trying to secretly like size him up and stuff. I'm like, girl.
She's like, he's so hot. He's so handsome. Oh, he smiles and he's gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm like, girl, okay, we get it. He's hot. You want him. But yeah, she's like, no, we're not supposed to like them. There are enemies. There are moral enemies. We're only doing this for a paycheck. She tried to keep reminding herself, you know.
Which, can I just say, for an enemies to lovers trope, this sucked. Like, I love a good enemies to lovers trope. I love it. But they were literally like, day one, we're enemies, but I'm gonna cook for you. We're gonna hang out in the garden together. You're gonna sleep in the bedroom next to mine. We're gonna be like best friends. Immediately.
They weren't real enemies. I
was like, you were never enemies. You don't feel like you're ever enemies. And supposedly, like, she was the number one wanted criminal and on his planet. But he's like, yeah, let me cook for you. You're cooking for me. Let's cook lasagna together.
And I'm going to get your bounty lifted. I'm going to do all this stuff. So, I mean, they were only enemies in the vaguest sense because of the war that had been over, you know.
Yeah.
They liked each other immediately.
I know. And I was like, that's why Burn for me does it better. Because Burn for me drags it out.
Rogue his ass. Okay, rogue his ass. I'm like, you just want to like stab him in the neck or something.
Yes,
but no,
they're enemies for a while. Here, like, it was so rushed. I was like, I don't even think I can call you enemies to lovers. You're just like two strangers who are opposite sides of the war, but immediately best friends.
No,
immediately
they didn't fight
attracted
enough
to each other.
They didn't argue enough. They didn't fight enough. There wasn't enough tension between them. The reasons why they hated each other weren't strong enough. They needed another reason other than the war and him just being not non-human.
Yeah. Like, if they had actually fought in the war, like, oh, you killed these people that I cared about, and I killed those people that, or, you know, like, if they had actually fought, or if they had done something in the war, not just like, oh, we happened to be on the same place at the same time, but we never saw each other because shit was going down.
Yeah. It was a very weak enemy setup, and that could have been done a lot better to make us believe it more.
Yeah.
And the author could have also, I guess, leaning into that more, make it more spicy, I guess.
I mean, no, enemies to lovers can be like peak spicy. Yeah. And this was just, it didn't hit.
It was soft. Even when they actually did get together, I'm like,
so you didn't like the shower scene?
It was fine, but I'm like, why? It could have been a lot more. It was not that hot to me. It was not. I felt like those books that we read. Oh, I read all of them. We did one on the podcast about I got drunk and
Oh yes, those
yeah,
by Kimberly
Lemming.
Yeah.
That was spicy.
Yeah, that was spicy. Those are good books. And you need to go read books 2 and 3 eventually. Like, they're good.
I read them.
Oh, you did?
I finished them and I forgot to tell you. Oh, that's what we could have talked about in the after show. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
But I like that's spicy to me. Like, it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't always have to be bondage and all this other crazy stuff. But that scene in the shower was so whack. I mean, it was fine, but it was kind of whack at the same time. I feel like Fourth Wing was more spicy.
Yeah, because he used his shadows a lot. And here, Torrin was like, I can touch you this way, but it just didn't hit the same.
No, it didn't. It did not hit. But I believe that she was obviously very
into it.
She was into it because maybe she has some atrophy going on down there. I don't know. It's been a while or something. So
no, it's been way too long. Like I kept going, girl.
She had some
you need to find yourself a friend.
It didn't take a lot, I guess. the bar was low.
Torrin wasn't that bad, but yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like usually when I like get some sex scenes, I'm like, ooh, whoa. And I'm like,
what's going on?
I'm like, okay, this was fine. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fine.
This is not the book I would refer people to like learn something or.
No, this is definitely like cozy romantic space. And if you need something soft and fluffy and you want like a little bit of action, but you also want a lot of character introspection, if you like cooking, if you like, found family stuff, then yeah, absolutely.
They're going to be holding hands in the garden, staring into each other's eyes.
Yes, they are.
Oh, God.
Petting Luna, the little cat, just like, yes, we're going to pet the cat and sit in the garden and be old people immediately.
Yes. They're going to be parents to the rest of their teams. It's like they're going to be the old married couple in 2 seconds flat.
I mean, they instantly became the old married couple as soon as he came on the ship. Like, both of them were just parenting both teams. Yeah. Teams got grounded and like, you have chores now because you're grounded. You're fighting and you didn't stop the fighting. You're grounded.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
So all the things that are not sexy, right? All the things that are cozy, as we said.
Very cozy.
Okay, this is a great time to take a break. By listening to the commercials, you are supporting the podcast. Don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon. When we will return, we will continue our conversation and we will rate the book. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. That was a very quick break on Patreon, wasn't it? Very quick.
So fast.
Yeah, like it didn't even happen. Okay, so what else did I want to say about these two? I mean, the more I talk about them, the more I find them lackluster. So it's like my immediate response to it was, oh, that's cute. But the more I think about it and dissect it, the less I like them as a couple. I mean, and that's bad.
I like them as a couple, but it is annoying. But also, I understand why I forgot everything. Like it's so forgettable, which is sad. But at the same time, like I can immediately picture 2 different, very prominent series. And I just think about those series, not this book. Like it doesn't stand out on its own. I'm like, oh yes, she's Mercy because she's baking right now. And then I think about how Mercy like bakes her brownies all the time and has special recipes and like makes apology cookies for all of her neighbors. And I'm like, that's what Tavi's doing right now. So I'm just thinking about a different series.
I mean, honestly, and with Burn for me, like I can't remember every single thing that happened, but I sure as hell can remember a lot of it. And it's
Oh
like
yeah.
it was very memorable.
And it
It's
was
very
so
memorable.
action packed.
Yeah.
And I wish this one had more action. Like I wish something had happened at the 40 or before the 40% mark. I wish something else had happened. I wish they'd known about the kid the whole time. Like that would have added so much more tension to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But like while I was reading it, I was enjoying it. So I don't want to dismiss that too much. Like it wasn't a bad book. I wasn't annoyed by it while reading it. It was just
No.
like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
But it's forgettable.
Yeah, definitely forgettable. That's what I'll say. Because I didn't even read the synopsis for the next book. So I don't even know how heavily Tavi and Torin will be.
It's a different couple.
Right. So will they just be floating around the background, like coming in? Probably. Okay. So
I didn't read the second one when it came out, so it'll be totally new to me when we read it next month. But
okay, because I feel like in 6 months from now, when we're reading something else, this is gonna fade really quickly for me.
Yeah,
it's sugar, it's candy, and I've said this analogy before, but like candy, it's sugar. It melts, you eat it, you enjoy it while you are eating it, and it's gone. It's empty calories. You're like, okay, it's gone.
But it's good candy. This is the good candy.
Yeah, it's good candy, but it only lasts a couple minutes and it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unlike other books, it's a complex meal. You got your carbs, your protein, and some dessert. You got all the things.
All the things.
Yeah, and and a strong cocktail on the side because there's so much going on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the difference, I think, in a very basic foodie way.
Yes.
Can you tell I like food?
I mean, Tavi likes food too, because she kept telling him about how she was cooking, how she was making lasagna, how she was making all these other things. And she kept having all of these very modern terms. And I was like, I know you're a human from Earth, but like, why do you know what a butler pantry is? And why do you know what this other thing is? And shelf staples and all these other things. I was like, you're in space. Shouldn't you have new terms for this? Or is it all the same? Like, is it the year 2030?
Shouldn't you just have something that just makes your food and spits it out like on Star Trek?
Right? Do you have to cook?
I don't think you have to. But I mean, also, Torin was kind of trying to get foodie with her. Like, he was trying to cook. He was trying to, like, when he was giving her, like, a variety of his food, of Vala's people's food, he like gave her instructions and
on how to eat it. Like, this is bitter.
He gave her a charcuterie board of their food with instructions of what to eat first, like a guided charcuterie tour.
As a foodie, that was hella romantic.
Yes, it was.
Like, if somebody did that for me, yes, please. Yes, thank you. I want this. Like, it was. Yeah. I gotta give him props for that. That was very romantic.
Yes, only like a woman could think up, for sure.
Yeah. A fictional man written by a woman. Yes, that's what he's doing.
But I would love that kind of gift. I know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
My husband would never. He'd be like, what? You just tell me what you want, please.
You want this red purse? Or do you want this orange purse? Like, I don't know, babe.
They both look red to me.
Yes, they both look red to me. Yeah. Fictional men written by women just hit different.
They do. Because it's all the things we want, right?
Yes. So, yes.
And honestly, Torin was a good character overall. I liked him. He wasn't aggravating. He had his, like, moments that I was kind of irritated a little bit. Like, just tell her, you know, the author made the reasons valid. So I guess I kind of just let it go when I was reading it. It was fine.
Yeah, like it made sense in the moment. But if you pick at it and think like, okay, well, he was this general. Why can't he think 2 steps ahead and understand what the Empress is going to do? Or why can't he, break the cells? And yeah. If you pick at it, it gets annoying. But in the moment, in the story, I was like, okay, fine. He's just as dramatic as her. I'm going to start bleeding all over the place.
So what did you think of the rescue mission?
It was a little lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it made sense. And it made sense in the story, like, because the whole story was kind of like, oh, we're just going to go here, we're going to here, let's piece this together. Oh no, the bad guys, we stumbled on them, let's fight really fast. And now it's over. Like, so the pacing, it made sense, but it was very lackluster. We've definitely read better missions and better rescue stories in the past.
I think that for me, I agree with you, but I also think the placement to show one more reason why Tavi was uncomfortable with Valivs was the wrong place to put that.
Yeah.
So when Torin pulled out his weapon of choice as a telekinetic, she was all like, oh God, I saw a training video. I'm so scared of that. He's like, what? She's like, this is like a traditional weapon. We all use it. And she's like, I know. And, they have this conversation.
Mhm.
He's like, well, I can leave it behind. I'm like, you can leave it behind. Are you crazy? You want to save your nephew, don't you? Why would you volunteer to leave?
He wants to cripple himself for me. That line.
It's
that
stupid.
line. I was like, you are a teenage girl, ma'am. Sit down.
Yeah. I think that also she did that earlier in their training. Let's say they're training, he's trying to teach her how to shield. He's teaching her how to do this. They're sparring. That would have been a perfect time to bring up that weapon.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, have him pull that weapon and then, oh my God, trauma. And then, like, have that conversation. It just didn't seem right in the moment of trying to rescue someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she was trying to remind everybody that even though Tavi's like choosing to be here, she still has all this trauma. And look, now 5 pages later, she's going to be traumatized. All the terrible things that she has been fearing is going to happen. And I was just kind of like, no, thank you. Like, let's just move past this.
Yeah.
Let's have some more actual fighting and not just my brain is breaking.
Oh my God. And then so apparently they come up against another very strong telekinetic, just like him. And he is trying to shield her while fight. Because the woman who had her up in the air, like kind of like almost immobilized because she couldn't move. And it was like her brain was crushing. What was crushing? Something was crushing.
I think her brain was crushing at one point. Her neck almost snapped.
Yeah.
But the whole book, Torin kept saying how powerful he was. And like he'd casually be like, yes, I can kill every person on this spaceship, like without moving from this spot. And then the one time he like actually has to use this power, he can't defeat the person immediately.
Like she was equally as strong as him. I'm like, really?
Really? I thought he was like the most powerful. I thought he could do whatever. Like, how is he failing so hard?
Yeah.
Right when it counts.
It's funny when Tavi asked him, so do you know her since you guys are rare and blah blah blah. I was expecting him to say, oh, that's my ex or some shit.
That's my teacher. That's the person who taught me how to do this. They know my tricks. Like, no, I expected something like that, but no, just a random person who's also guarding the Empress.
Yeah, that was a fail. That whole scene. And then, of course, she got healed while she was like knocked out. So we missed the healing stuff. So she got healed off the page. And then, of course, we didn't know that the plan B was to like have her teleported out. Did we know that?
No, we didn't know that. Nobody knew that they could teleport.
No. I'm like, okay. And then right onto the ship. And then, of course, the guy faints because he's so exhausted. I'm like, why did they go all the way back to the ship? But okay, I get it. I'm like, they were far.
Honestly, my first question was, weren't there booby traps on the ship? I thought Key left booby traps. But no, apparently they can just teleport right onto the ship and then, turn off the security. I was like,
easy peasy.
So anybody could just teleport onto the ship and it'd be fine.
Apparently so. I mean, there was not like if there was something on Tavi's person that allowed them through, it should have been stated.
Yeah.
I mean, they all had on the alien suits, right? They didn't even have on their regular gear. So yeah, it didn't really work completely, but okay. And of course, her team, they're all coming, they're speeding in there. Cars, I'm like hearing the cars in my brain. I'm like, okay, I can see them running for the ship. And then of course, Torin is late. He had to make a stop. I said, oh, he went to get that pet. He went to get Luna.
Of course, because what else would he be doing?
Yeah. Not saving his own ass. He's gonna go get the pet. But I get it. The pet is like a little telepathic, a little, they really value these pets. I can't remember what the name of the animal was.
I don't remember. I just know her name was Luna.
And she's cat-like.
A telepathic cat.
Constantly harassing her for food incessantly. Like
the way cats do. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was cute. I'm like, oh, of course he got the pet. I mean, so
of course he got the cat. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's all the typical things that we kind of are not surprised by.
Yeah. No, it wrapped up very nicely. They rescued the nephew. Everybody was safe. The bad guy got away. So obviously it's set up for book 2. Like, it was just very typical.
Even the trade-off with the nephew, with the sister, I felt like that there was something else that could have been done there. I wanted more of it or something. It just seemed pretty...
Like, they could have at least talked to Tavi for like 2 minutes, been like, thank you, instead of just bowing and like, thank you for rescuing my son. If you need anything, like, I owe you. Yeah. That would have been a good setup for something in the future.
Yeah, instead they just kind of nod heads, and I'm like, okay, that was kind of okay. And then of course, Tavi's pouting because she thinks Torin is gonna leave. I'm like, aren't we adults? Can't you just say, are you gonna fucking leave? She's not an adult.
She's like 13 years old mentally. Like this.
Oh my god,
this woman.
Like,
I was so excited when we heard she was in her 30s because I was like, yay, finally, some mature heroines. And no, the whole time she's like crying, the wound in her heart. He's leaving me and not saying goodbye. And I'm blinking back tears. And I was like, what's going on?
See, look, I'm like, why would you? And the whole time, I'm like, he's not going to leave without saying bye. Are you stupid? Like, okay, unless you thought that the time y'all were together, the times y'all were making out you thought it was better than he did. Because I'm like, he's not just gonna leave. He's not gonna just leave.
But he still has the blood oath. Like, he can't leave you. He's got to protect you. What did you think?
Yeah,
and he was just gonna like walk away and end it by himself.
Again, she don't think. She's just being young. She's just being moody and young, angsty about it.
Yeah.
So it comes up again. It's like, I just think that the author could have did a little bit better with a more mature woman.
I'm hopeful for the next book because I'm pretty sure that's Key's book.
But Key's younger, right?
Key's younger. Well, a little younger. But like, we've already established her personality. We know who she is. We know her love interests and how they don't get along. And so I'm hopeful that there will be more tension. He insulted her. He called her stupid, like right off the bat.
And she's like the tech
guru.
She's the tech guru. Yeah. She is the systems person, and he basically called her dumb as fuck, and she was mad.
Yes.
Oh, and I don't even think he meant to do that, but translation.
Yeah. But I'm hopeful that it'll be better because there won't be like as much building. I'm hoping there'll be more action, like right from the get-go. We're hunting this person. We're doing this. This is where we're going. Let's deep dive into it and not slow build it.
Yeah, because we're at the part now where everyone kind of gets along with everyone. Like, those hang-ups should have been addressed as the team, because they've all worked together. They've all ran away together, They should be past like some of that stuff. So hopefully it won't be any of that. But on that same note, Key seems very immature. Like in how she deals with conflict. If she don't like something, you got to make her cookies or something.
Yeah, you have to apologize and make her cookies or she'll ignore you.
Beg her forgiveness or she'll what do you call it? Gray rock you, basically. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's really immature. That's why I'm like, how young is she? I feel like she's like 23 or something. Maybe she's older because of
I
the
think she's a
war,
little older than that because
but
they
she
were in the
acts
war
like
together
that.
for years. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
she also acts very young.
Yeah.
And everybody coddles her. They're like, she's
Mhm.
our younger sister, and we, do everything to make her happy.
Obviously, we're going to read the second book.
Yes.
But I'm not like super excited for Key. I don't know why. Just something. I want to like her. I have no problem with her today.
Mhm.
But I can just feel in a spidey sense is telling me I'm going to be annoyed by her for half the book.
I hope not, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Who was it that was mad at she was mad at? What was the guy's name? I don't remember.
Val something. But they're all Val-offs, but he was like
he was a part of Torrance'
Torrance
original team.
Yeah. And
okay.
Again, his team was forgettable. I don't remember, and I finished this book yesterday, and I don't remember anybody from his team. Like the doctor, don't know what the doctor's name is. He was great, but I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his name either. I know he's not getting a love interest.
No, I think he's with Elliot and the other woman. I think they're doing a love triangle thing.
Really?
I think so, because they're all making googly eyes at each other in the end.
I thought it was going to be about Lexi and that other guy.
Oh yeah, no, I think book 3 is that. I don't think Elliot or the doctor's like getting a specific story, but I think the 3 of them are just gonna kind of like, yeah, we're together now.
Like throuple style?
Yeah, throuple style. Like the 3 of them are just like, yep, let's do it.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily hate it, but he seems old to me. He comes across as old.
I know. I thought he was an old man too. And then at one point he was described as like young and hot. And I was like, what? I thought he was an old man.
Yeah, I guess his soul is old. I mean, the way he was talking to Tavi about her pain and being able to sense people's pain and, hey, I'll help you. And, he seemed old.
He seemed old, but nope, apparently young enough to be in a throuple, unless they like an old man in a throuple. Oh, God, no.
I guess anything is possible, I guess.
Anything is possible, but yeah, it was... They were just making weird eyes at each other. I was like, I think that's what you're trying to say, is that they're a throuple now, but I'm not 100% sure.
I guess I don't know enough about Elliot or
Elliot,
whatever.
Yeah. He just makes googly eyes at everybody and smirks and winks and smiles and drops panties.
Everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he goes, he's dropping panties. And then all of a sudden, like, he's winking at the doctor. And I was like, oh, am I reading too much into this? Or is this actually happening?
Like I said, I don't feel like we didn't learn enough about him. I didn't get any bi vibes other than that wink. I'm like,
other than the wink, I didn't get any bi vibes from him.
Yeah, I knew the woman that was on Torrance' team was like, oh, he's cute, right?
Yeah, he's hot for human standards, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it will be a throuple thing. I don't know.
I hope so. Just to like add some spice and something different.
I don't know if the author can write that spicy. I think if she does,
and I don't think she can. I don't think they're going to get a book. I think we'll just see it happening in the background.
Okay.
So,
because I'm like, I can't imagine her trying to write this.
No, because the next book is Key's book. So unless she like jumps points of view, no, I think it's all Key. And then like in the background, we'll just see Elliot with his people, I guess.
Honestly, that's something I kind of hope that she switches with her next book is I hope we get 2 POVs because to be honest, this book could have used a couple of chapters from Torrance POV because it just needs to be broken up.
Yeah. We just needed a little more from him. I don't think it would have worked in this one just because he had so many secrets. And he couldn't tell Tavi all of the stuff. But if we were in his head and we knew this, as the reader, we would have been really annoyed to be like, why can't you just fucking tell her?
See, and I don't think I would be annoyed. I think I would care more about them being a couple because I'm like, oh, I know he really likes her. Oh, I know, this is killing him right now. Oh, I want them to get over this. I feel like that would make me care more about them.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I guess
I
that's
don't think she's done dual point of view in any of her other books that I've read. I think it's always been single point of view. So don't get your hopes too high for the next book.
I'm just going to settle in for Key complaining about shit and,
being bubbly and happy, but also complaining and needing cookies 24/7.
Yeah, and just fixing shit with Lexi all the time. Things that break, they work together well, because...
Yeah.
All
right.
Well, let's rate it. You think we should go ahead and rate it?
Yes, let's rate it.
Okay, how about you go first, since this is our return after a month off?
When I finished it, I was really happy with it, and I gave it 4 stars. But the more we pick at it, the more I want to drop that down to 3 stars. But I also don't want to diminish the fact that I enjoyed it while I read it. I think it's one of those books that don't think too hard about it. Don't pick too much at it. Just enjoy the ride, enjoy the references to the other books, make it or let it feel happy while you read it or whatever. But no, I think I have to go 3 stars. I can't speak today.
It's okay. I'm with you on the 3 stars. I find that while I did enjoy it for the most part, it was fast, it was light, it was candy. Anytime I find myself saying it was fine too many times, that throws me firmly in the 3 star. Yeah.
There's a lot we can nitpick at it, but overall it was fine. And fine is 3 stars. And it didn't stand out the way Mercy stands out. It didn't stand out the way Alona Andrews stands out, but it was fine.
Because I feel like while we had a full discussion about this, I didn't feel any of those rage high and lows that I felt.
Yeah, before. No, I'm not mad at nitpicking it. And I'm not like, oh my God, this was the worst ever. I need to rage about this. No, it was just like,
yeah, it's fine.
I liked it when I read it, but this could have been different. Or I liked it, but this should have happened instead.
I like those highs and lows of emotions when I get the characters where I'm feeling regardless, how the author writes them, regardless if it's good or bad, I sometimes like that more. It makes it more memorable for me when
absolutely.
I'm able to identify, damn, Rock is an asshole. Let me go in.
Yes.
Yes. And, that kind of stuff, actually brings it more gusto, makes me like it more, because I'm never gonna forget that. After I rage about how someone acts in a book, and I give the author credit for that. So I don't know. I think that's what was missing. These characters are so bland. Yes. They're bland.
They're so bland. And we said earlier, his Torrance team is so forgettable that we don't even remember their names. Yeah. We know Key and Elliot and Lexi. We know them really well, but we don't really feel one which way about them. But we don't even remember Torrance team. And he had a whole ship with a crew that we never met. And I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot they existed.
Yeah, this random ship just following them around, tailing them all around.
The whole time. There's just a ship full of people. Who? I don't know.
They're just there to escort us around and make sure you don't get blown up.
Exactly. But maybe we'll meet them in the next book. I don't know. I hope so.
I don't know. Does he even keep the ship after he's been demoted?
No, I think it left, actually. Yeah. I think he lost it.
Yeah, they basically eradicated his whole history as
well, if you're an evil empress trying to start a war, might as well.
He's like, I'm nothing. And they're like, we follow our, what was his General. Yeah. He's like, I'm not a commander anymore. And they're like, whatever, we follow him.
We follow you.
I'm like, quit your whining. Quit your bitching. We know. I stand firm in the 3 star. I stand firm in it. I'm confident that is the correct choice. All right. I think we're done here. What do you think, Casey?
I think we're done here. I think we had a good conversation.
Yeah, I think so too. You guys, if you have read Hunt the Stars, join us for book club and talk about this with us live, or leave us comments on Patreon or on Spotify, wherever. If you think, or YouTube, if you think, hey, y'all this was a lot better than what you're saying. Let us know. If you're like, you guys, this was trash, what are you saying? Then let us know that too. You know, I love to hear all the opinions.
Oh, absolutely. And if you see the Mercy references or the Burn for Me references or any other references to series, like if you see there's another series it feels like, let us know.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, I love the Easter eggs and stuff like that. So if you find something, I'm like, oh, tell me. I want to know. So next month, we'll be back with Eclipse the Moon, which is book 2. And I think sometime after that or in between there, we're going to do 0.5 for the Patreon and the Spreaker supporters group. So if you're interested in hearing us talk about the prequel, at some point you'll need to join us over on Patreon or on the Spreaker app as a supporter. And I think that's it. Be sure to like and subscribe and share this with your other bookish friends, and we will catch you in the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.